How did a businessman become president of the United States and then come back after losing an election, become one of the most recognizable celebrities in America, enter politics as an outsider, become president of the United States, and then return to the White House years after losing an election? Donald Trump's story is not just about money or politics. It is a story about branding, communication, risk-taking, media attention, and understanding what millions of people wanted to hear. But the real question is, how did Donald Trump actually do it? First, we need to clear up one common misconception. Donald Trump did not start from nothing. He was born into a successful New York real estate family. His father, Fred Trump, had built a successful real estate business in New York. Donald Trump attended the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School, where he studied economics, and later joined his father's business. So his starting point was privileged. But Trump eventually took that family business into Manhattan and began building a separate identity and brand of his own. One important part of Trump's business strategy was location and visibility. He began building his presence in Manhattan, one of the world's most recognizable real estate markets. A building wasn't simply a building. Trump understood the power of making a property recognizable and turning it into a brand. Trump Tower became one of the best-known examples. And this is where we can see an important business lesson. People don't only buy a product. They also buy perception. One of Trump's most powerful business assets became his own name. Beyond real estate, the Trump brand appeared across hotels, golf courses, entertainment, books, licensing, and other ventures. That doesn't mean Trump personally built every business carrying his name. Instead, he understood something extremely valuable. The Donald Trump name itself could become a commercial brand. And that personal brand. But if we tell Trump's business story as nothing but a success story, we would be leaving out an important part of the truth. Trump's career included serious financial difficulties and business failures. Several casino businesses associated with Trump faced major financial problems, and multiple Trump-linked casino companies went through bankruptcy proceedings. This reveals another important part of his story. Trump was willing to take enormous risks, but those risks did not always succeed. Then came an opportunity that dramatically changed Trump's public image: television. In 2004, the reality television show The Apprentice premiered. Millions of viewers saw Trump presented as a tough, confident, and decisive businessman. He was no longer known only as a real estate developer. He became a television personality. And this created one of his most valuable political assets: mass public recognition. Trump had talked about American politics for years, but in 2015, everything changed when he entered the Republican presidential race. At first, many political observers did not believe he could actually win. He had never held elected political office. But Trump didn't try to behave like a traditional politician. Instead, he started speaking in a way that connected directly with a large part of his target audience. One of the most important features of Trump's campaign communication was simplicity. Make America Great Again. The slogan was short, emotional, and easy to remember. His campaign focused on issues such as immigration, jobs, trade, national security, and frustration with the political establishment. Instead of explaining everything through complicated political language, the campaign reduced many issues into simple, memorable messages. And here is an important communication lesson. The more complicated your message becomes, the harder it is for people to remember. Trump presented himself as an outsider fighting the Washington establishment. His message was simple. Traditional politicians had controlled Washington for years, but many problems remained unsolved. This message connected strongly with voters who felt frustrated with the political system. Trump created a clear political identity. I am not part of the system. I am here to change the system. That outsider identity helped separate him from many experienced Republican politicians during the 2016 primary. Trump also understood how to generate media attention. He often made statements that became television headlines and newspaper stories. And there was a powerful political effect. If your name remains at the center of the news cycle, people keep hearing about you. Both supporters and critics could increase his visibility simply by talking about him. In other words, even criticism could sometimes generate more attention. This became one of Trump's most controversial but highly effective communication strategies. Trump also used social media, especially Twitter, now known as X, to communicate directly with millions of followers. Instead of relying entirely on traditional media, he could speak directly to his audience. A single post could create a national political debate within minutes. The strategy was simple. Go around the traditional gatekeepers and speak directly to the audience. In the age of social media, Trump's campaign became an important example of how personal communication could reshape political messaging. The 2016 election became the biggest turning point of Trump's career. He became the Republican nominee and faced Hillary Clinton in the general election. Election night became one of the most dramatic moments in modern American politics. Trump won the Electoral College with 304 electoral votes, while Clinton received 227 in the official electoral count. But there is an important fact. Trump did not win the national popular vote in 2016. Hillary Clinton received more total votes nationwide. Trump won the presidency through the Electoral College system. To evaluate Trump's first presidency fairly, we have to look at actual policies, not just emotions. One major achievement was the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. The law reduced the federal corporate tax rate from 35% to 21%. The Congressional Budget Office estimated that the law would increase economic output and investment in the longer term, while also increasing federal deficits. So the policy had both potential benefits and costs. That is why serious analysis should include both sides. Trump's supporters often point to the strong pre-pandemic economy during his first term. By 2019, the U.S. unemployment rate had fallen to around 3.5%, one of the lowest levels in decades. Millions of jobs were added during the years before the COVID-19 pandemic. But there is an important qualification. A president does not control the economy alone. Economic performance depends on previous policies, the Federal Reserve, businesses, global economic conditions, and long-term trends. So it would be inaccurate to credit every economic achievement entirely to one president. One of Trump's notable foreign policy achievements was the Abraham Accords. In 2020, Israel established diplomatic relations with the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain, followed by additional normalization initiatives involving other countries. The agreements were presented as an important step toward expanding diplomatic and economic cooperation in the Middle East. The Trump administration considered the agreements one of its major foreign policy achievements. Another major long-term impact of Trump's presidency was the federal judiciary. During his first term, Trump appointed 3 Supreme Court justices: Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett. These appointments significantly changed the ideological balance of the Supreme Court. Unlike many presidential decisions, Supreme Court appointments can influence American law for decades. That means Trump's presidential legacy cannot be judged only by the economy or foreign policy. The judiciary is another major part of the story. Now we reach the difficult question. Was Donald Trump a successful president? There's no honest one-word answer. His administration achieved major policy goals, but his presidency was also surrounded by enormous controversy. Immigration, political polarization, the COVID-19 response, his conduct in office, 2 impeachments, and the events surrounding January 6 all became major parts of the historical debate over his presidency. So the most accurate answer is, Trump's presidency had significant achievements, but also significant controversies and costs. Donald Trump also made an unusual mark on American political history. He became the first U.S. president to be impeached twice. The first impeachment involved allegations related to Ukraine. The second came after the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol, when the House charged him with incitement of insurrection. But there is another important fact. The Senate did not convict him in either trial. So Trump was impeached twice, but removed from office through Senate conviction 0 times. In 2020, Trump ran for re-election, but Joe Biden defeated him. For many politicians, that could have been the end of the story. But it wasn't the end of Trump's political career. The 2020 election and Trump's claims about election fraud created one of the most controversial political periods in modern American history. The controversy continued long after Election Day, and then began one of the most unusual political comebacks in American history. After leaving office, Trump remained one of the most influential figures in the Republican Party. He continued using rallies, endorsements, interviews, and direct communication to maintain his political base. Then, in 2024, he launched another presidential campaign. His campaign focused heavily on issues including the economy, immigration, border security, and an America First political agenda. Once again, he mobilized voters who believed Washington's traditional political system was failing to solve their problems. The 2024 election created another historic moment. According to the official Electoral College results, Trump won 312 electoral votes, while Kamala Harris received 226. And unlike 2016, Trump also won the national popular vote. He received approximately 77 million votes, or roughly 49.8% of the popular vote. This time, Trump won both, the Electoral College and the popular vote. One of Trump's strongest political techniques is emotional communication. Instead of focusing only on complicated policy details, his speeches often focus on emotions such as fear, frustration, anger, pride, and hope. That can create a strong psychological connection between a leader and supporters. And there is an important leadership lesson here. People don't only listen to facts, they also want to feel understood. But emotional communication also carries risks. Strong emotions can motivate people, but they can also increase division or make exaggeration and misinformation more powerful. Another lesson from Trump's political career is consistency. He used rallies, television interviews, social media, speeches, press conferences, and public statements to keep communicating with his audience. His supporters regularly heard his message. That consistency helped create a powerful political brand. Whether you support Trump or strongly disagree with him, one thing is difficult to deny. He understood the value of staying visible. Many politicians rely heavily on the brand of their political party. Trump developed something different. Alongside the Republican Party, he created an extremely recognizable personal political brand. For many supporters, Trump became more than simply the name of a politician. It became a symbol of a political movement. From business to politics, Trump repeatedly made his own name a central asset.